All right, first thing is just what this training is. This is basically commander training for pugs or guild group, but with more of a slant towards what actually works if you don't have a big guild group to work with. Focus more on the fighting. I'm just going to kind of assume you guys know the basics of Siege because I'm pretty sure all of you do. And if not, there's tons of videos for that stuff. So
If you did any world versus world, just pay attention to where your commanders put siege. And remember it.
yeah, if you go through a few runs, you'll know damn near every spot. There's a couple of weird ones that people don't pull out very much, but it doesn't really matter that much. Siege is the easiest, boringest part of World vs. World. All right, so first and foremost, the Commander UI. If you haven't actually tagged up somewhere, you may not really know about what you can click and whatnot. First, I'm going to make you guys all lieutenant, which is going to give you access to a few things that you don't otherwise. So, as lieutenants, you can mainly drag people around parties. You can't do that now because everybody's a lieutenant, but beyond that, you have access to squad markers. What you can't do is the main stuff of the squad. So when I bring up the P window for party, my routine, if I'm trying to tag up, is, and this is a weird one, and most commanders don't even know this, but there's a checkbox for allow members to send invites. It's normally checked by default. It does not work. You have to physically uncheck that box and check it again. Otherwise, you're literally the only person that can send invites, aside from lieutenants. And then you have your option for private squad, option to lock subgroups so people can't move themselves around, and the anyone can join or the no one can join, and the private squad option. I always try to put the Discord in the squad message. Boom, like that. So anybody that joins, it'll pop up on their screen, and it's easily copy pastable for people out of the squad window versus chat where you can't copy paste it. Like everything I try to do is try to make stuff easy for people and try to dumb it down Barney style so the most intro person can get it.
Do you highlight it?
Press P and then view squad message. Then double click the squad message.
All right, cool. Thank you.
That's pretty much it for the squad UI except for markers. Go into your settings and go to options, and then the control options at the bottom there. So probably stuff you've never used, but go all the way down. Not at the bottom, but there's a section for squad, like third category from the bottom. If you do the same one as what someone else has placed, it's going to override it and take it off of them because there can only be one marker of each type on the map for our squad. But there's the type for the placement on people and targets, and then there's the type for placement on the ground. It's a good habit to mark your guardians, your heal brands, so that people can see them and they're visible. Makes them slightly more accountable and less inclined to squirrel too. Good idea to mess with those and maybe find a better hotkey that works for you. But those are super helpful, not just for marking. That's how our guys will mark an enemy commander. If you're the lieutenant and you figure out which one's the commander, boop, put something on his head. That way, everybody can see where they need to target. And if you're seeing something, or a lot of commanders will use it to tell the squad we're about to go. So boom, I put it down there. All right, everybody, go down to the green arrow. Boom, boom, jump down here. All right, another one. We're gonna go over the green arrow. Jump over. Stuff like that, or I mean, a lot of commanders get all kinds of flustered with trying to give directions, like physical directions as to which way to go, and they'll just make up some weird stuff that nobody understands. Left, right, back, forward, and then just basic landmarks. Ooh, Alt F4. Yeah, so that's a danger. So, oh, there's an enemy on the bridge. We're going to push across the bridge in 3, 2, 1. Just pushing this way. All right, turn around, go back, turn around, turn around.
You'll have to hit much harder.
Stack on the green arrow.
My alt key is my reverse. So, and the arrows are alt 1, alt 2, so I have to play with that.
Yeah, I use Alt for push to talk for my push to talk key, so that doesn't really help there. Definitely gotta adjust some of those hotkeys to make them work for you.
Yeah, because alt is rear view mirror.
Yeah, I got the B for that. But yeah, so directionally, the basic way you want to tell people stuff as far as which way you want them to go is based on you and the enemy. So if I say left, this is left because this is my left. If I say right, this is my right. The other directions depend on the enemy a bit, but it's always about circling the enemy, kind of like, like boxing or whatever. We're circling left, we're circling right. Straight lines are bad. Don't just run straight at them. They know where you're going to go then. A little bit of a curve. And another thing I'll do a lot is I'll just strafe when people are trying to catch up. I'll just strafe. I'll go side to side instead of having to really, just stand there or be extra vulnerable or give myself away. Because it's super easy to get ahead.
And if you're going against Endo, double dodge forward, and you'll get behind him, turn him down. That's how you beat Endo.
You'll have to hit much. Time to do some
If you got 30 or 40, you can pull it off.
replenishing.
So what we are looking at beyond movement is your ability to see the playfield. You need to be less focused on casting your own skills and more focused on placement of the group. You're done trying to, get top damage. You're done trying to do the perfect rotation. You need to play on something you're already good enough at that you can do that without thinking too much. Because you need to be more worried about, am I too far ahead of the group? Is the enemy's range, are we in range of them? Range is really big. So, all right, so we got a code in here. And we're just in his range. We're going to have to back up a bit. Here's another one. If you need to turn around, if you need to go back, for the love of Tyria and everything that's holy, do not use your turning sideways key to slowly just walk. Oh, let me turn around this way. Never, 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 never. Spin your damn camera around and go forward. Just the speed is just not even close. Like, yeah. And plus you give yourself away. Like, if the enemy sees a keyboard turner, they're kind of the first target. Like, that's good gameplay. But beyond that, clear these markers. So range-wise, maximum range are the stupid-ass rangers with their, longbows, which I think is 1,500.
Yep.
But for the rest of us who are normal, maximum is 1,200. So we're right about at 1,200. We're going to slide right. So we're sliding right. We're trying to basically maintain 1,200 range. Right now we're in it because they can still hit us. So we're going to keep going. What you're mainly avoiding is the revs and the necros. The revs and the scourges. Maybe a little Ellie. We're just going to clear these guys. Okay. Quick burn on me. So what I mean by that, and I'm going to give you another setting. Go in your options. Actually, I'm going to give you a couple because who knows what kind of crazy stuff people have. All right, so definitely in your general options, top tab there. Thick party health bars, thick squad health bars, always show party health bars, always show squad health bars. I've probably told most of you guys about those already, but Needed, not optional. You need to be more aware of where your group is than hyper-focusing on the enemy. All right, so beyond that, going down a bit for the camera, mandatory, mandatory, mandatory. Field of view all the way to the right. This is not Halo. You're not like trying to snipe somebody. You need to see the whole group. If you don't see your allies, you're already fucked up. Beyond that, I mean, pretty much all of them you can put to the right, except for collision sensitivity. You don't want too much with that. All right, so beyond that, you need to be at maximum zoom out. Your mouse wheel, pull that all the way back, or some weird zoom control you might have. Maximum zoom out. And you need to be at a camera angle somewhat looking down on our group, I don't know, 45 degrees or something. Like, you should be able to see our whole group, but still look ahead of us at the enemy. All right, so beyond that, we're talking about 1200 range, and I forgot the other thing I was going to tell you. So lock, still in the general options there. Still in the general options. Down below where we're at with the camera, combat movement. So ground targeting by default is normal, which is terrible. Fast with range indicator, if you don't use it, is going to change your life. You also want lock ground target at maximum skill range. I think that's pretty key. There's some other stuff in here that it's worth playing with, but all right. So fast with range indicator makes it so when you press and hold, it's all about pressing and holding your weapon skills. So with that, I'm going to press and hold my staff 3. I'm holding it until I put my cursor where I want it to be, and then I let it go.
Time to do some real damage.
So you say you hold down whatever, skill, and then you can move your cursor around all you want, and then you let go when you want to drop it. So it's less key presses, and it's more precision placement. I just think it's way easier to use. If you don't like it, put it back. But I think it's just so much faster. Yeah, if you think about double clicking every skill in a fight and the amount of time you lose, it's ridiculous. Don't even worry about looking at like the animations of the people. For some people, if you're easily distracted, just put all the graphics to utter minimum, basic character models.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have to do that.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be some graphics related things and personal preference and how your screen works and stuff. But I'm telling you what's been working for me for the last however many years. I don't keep track.
God bless.
So now that we've got our target indicators right, you can hold down your castable skill and see what your maximum range is. It's like my staff 3 here. I'll just hold it down, and I can see, all right, right about here I'm at 1200. If I'm further away, I can't hit him. If I can't hit him, he can't hit me. So it's all about playing that range. You have to get a feel for it of, am I too close, am I too far? And that's ultimately what is gonna make you better, because you have to not rush into early, and you have to be right on that edge. A lot of it is skirting. It's all skirting. Even and a lot of stuff is round. These damn enemies, say it's this enemy skill, just fucking walk around it. Don't walk right through every damn red circle you find. Like,
Please don't.
Man, so many commanders just want to be Johnny Brave guy and like just rush through everything. Like, no, just go around. It's not that hard. But anyway, ran out of things to kill here. We got to move on. So talking about range. That is kind of a downside. Once you've hit that first key, you're kind of committed to it. I mean, you could swap weapons. That's a good way to stop it. But it's not that easy to cancel once you've hit the first hit. Yeah, escape is an option too. Weapon swap or escape, stow weapon.
Yeah, if you're trying to leap away and you got somebody targeted, you have to hit escape.
So here's the other piece. You have that 1200 range that you're getting a feel for now. So like this tree here, we're gonna back away. Turn around, back away here. We're stacked up here. Get us a little marker for our house. All right, so this Coden's already in range. We already are at 1200. We're gonna back away to the left here. Circle left, circle left, circle left. All right, so spike. A spike is just a burst of soft damage from everybody. So not a big hit, not a bomb, not a 5 skill, more a 2 or a 3. You know, depending on the class. So a little spike, you know, we'd all drop our staff 3 on his head, whatever it might be. Thinking of it like a jab in boxing. You're just giving him a little tap. You're not going all out. Your first action should never be an all-out bomb. Because boons. Because they have guardians too, and they're going to block that stuff. So that's where understanding how the boons actually work and having played more than one class and knowing the game mechanics beyond just your main class is just make or break. You cannot be a good commander and have only played Guardian your whole life. You need to understand how the Necros work. You need to understand how the Revs work, how Barrier works from the NGs. All the stuff. I mean, nobody's going to be an expert on everything, but at least having put, you know, a few hours of gameplay in to figure out what they're doing and not just assuming everything's hacking is going to help you. So
Most commanders want you to throw your bomb out before they want you to waste your bomb before they attack you. They do stuff to try to make you lose it.
yes,
Yeah, the fake push.
the fake push, bingo, baiting the bomb, the fake push. There's a lot of stuff people will call it. So basic Pugmander Kriff long ago did the basic commander thing that every new commander does, and it's called a one push. Where we would just do that, because I didn't know about it. Stack up and empower. And 3, 2, 1. Let's go. We're just going to push at this shield bearer. I'm not going to pay attention to my group, and I'm just going to hope for the best. Bomb, 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 bomb. Press all your skills, hope for the best. And then if they're even remotely competent or have more people, we just die. That's just it. I don't have any plan. I don't have any actions that I call after that. It's just run in, mash your skills, and hope for the best. Didn't work. Does not work unless you have really, really bad opponents or really, really good allies. I mean, even the worst commander can be carried by a good group.
Yeah. Thankfully, we have some good map folks.
Our skill level's been increasing. That makes it a lot easier to command. When we were linked with TC, I just wanted to pull my hair out every day. It was just Let's get a ram here.
Oh, we have Nick in guild still, and he's in TC.
We gotta fix that. I give people like, normally I try to give them like 2 weeks after relink. If they don't come, you get the boot. It's hard for me to keep up with them. But talking about gates, you guys know about rams and things. Not too worried about that part.
I've got a question about the squads.
Mhm.
A lot of them think that they don't need to even them out or anything. If you stay on tag, you'll get the heals and so forth and so on. If you're not going to split them up.
You can make it work, but you're making it hard on yourself. Like there's a small group. It might make more sense to not have parties. Like if you're at that in between phase where you're not really like 10 or 15 yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier because the target will be easier to call, so you can focus one person. But once you're past 10 people, it's just not worth it. You need to split them up.
Your closest 5 people get the buffs. If you're in party and there's 6 or 7 people around you, your party members will get the buffs before other people.
The game's really bad at it, so it's mostly about stability. It's mostly about Guardian stuff. If you don't have your Guardian split up, then we're gonna overlap stat. So like right now, if I tried to drop stability, I'm gonna give stability to people who don't need it. If Mina's dropping stability and Salamander's dropping stability, it may all go to Chalkboard, who doesn't really need it. He now has too much, and everybody else doesn't have enough. So the foolproof, worth it way to do it, and great segue into squad comp, is Guardians. So the first thing you're wanting to do when you're getting your squad together, you got your squad message, you got some people. So you're looking at your support first, really, which your backbone is your Guardian. You're never going to make a squad work without a Guardian. There's people that try, it only works a little, and then they give up and they get Guardians. It just doesn't work.
That you when it's all thieves.
Yeah, you have to have stability. It is not an option. And really, honestly, the less experienced your group is, the more you want to have 2 Guardians per group.
Especially with all the boon grips now.
Yeah, the good thing about Guardians is it's not a one, oh, you have boons. It's boons and more boons and more boons and more boons. A good Guardian has a rotation where they're pumping that stuff out every 5-10 seconds. You get all the boons. Let's tap this guy a bit here. So, we've got our base Guardians. Always ask your Guardians to run standard ground, even if there's some shenanigan build burn guard, they can still give you standard ground. They can spare 1 skill for you. Argue with them about it. They always need to have standard ground. The NG defense field, yes, that's a good stab. Let's res people here. We're not really set up to do much damage.
I'm gonna switch back.
Yeah, so the defense field is a great extra stab for the NGs. More later in the fight, because the NGs or the Guardians are going to have the early stab, and then once that runs out, if there's nothing left, the NGs can cover it. It's also a good block for pushes, though. You have kind of a stopper for all the damn Rangers and Revs and whatnot.
What kind of damage meter do you use, or do you suggest using one, or?
Controversial. I did not use any damage meter until like 3 months ago, maybe, because I've always been able to lean on my experienced guild members, lieutenants, and things so much. Yeah, Arc DPS. It's, as far as I know, it's the only legit reliable one. It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to set up. It's very like basic DOS stuff, but not DOS, but it's not a pretty UI,
He's showing your age, Dave.
I had DOS was first announced in college for me.
First announced, man. Yeah, I had my, what was it, Texas, a TI, Texas, whatever.
TI 99.
Yep.
I had one of them too. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, showing our age here. We got a little monster here, a little easier to hit, since they won't die as fast. Where's this thing?
It's me. I made a good living off of computers. Thank you, DOS.
I don't know what this does. Turn to code and forge. Alright, I'm getting distracted. So,
I ran DOS Shell for a long time.
so squad comp. So old school World vs. World, and this is another problem where World vs. World is just like damn the rest of life, where people get stuck at a certain point in time, just like high school football. They, somebody primed or whatever, and they think of their glory days, whatever. Oh, World vs. World, back in my day, we did just that. No one cares. Don't talk about that. Don't entertain it. Only thing that matters is right now. But I'll just, totally break my own rule. And so back in the day, 2 support. 2 support was always the thing. You could get away with having 2 guardians, or a guardian and an NG, and be okay. Now it's tough. You kind of want 3. It's hard to pull off, but it's really good if you can try to pull off 3 support per squad. Either two guardians and an NG, 2 guardians and an LE, a guardian, an NG, and an LE, whatever you can throw together. It's kind of a balancing act at that point. But if you can do that, at least for half of your groups, your survival is going to be much better. The fights are so much longer now than they used to be because damage has been nerfed so much. So your support makes the fight. You have to be able to take the first hit. You cannot wipe on the first hit, or it's not going to happen for you. So your support is everything. Your guardians are doing the boons. They're doing their job. They're keeping stability. The trio of support, if you will. We got guardians on boon support. We got the NGs with a focus on Condi removal, as well as their handy stealth. And then we got the Ellies with the pure healing and some pretty solid Condi removal too. You have some flexibility, but you have to cover all those 3 things. That's kind of where people get messed up, like hyperventilating and worrying about squad comp so much and coming up with the magic comp and all this, and people don't show up. You have to have some kind of flexibility to make stuff work. And the only way you can do that is if you know what the different classes, like what job are they trying to do? What is their role in the squad? Like, no, not everybody is just here to press random buttons. We need to do some stuff to keep ourselves alive and kill things. So if you're low on NGs, you're like, okay, I don't have as much Condi clear. I don't have as much stealth. I need to compensate for that. I'm going to tell my guardians, hey, we need more Condi clear. And bring a Mesmer, because hopefully you have some kind of stealth there, So, we got our trio of support. Firebrand, NG, LE, and any sorting of that you want. Then we've got our damage. So, the default damage for the longest time has been the Scourges and the Revs. Heavy range, a lot of quote-unquote pirate shipping, which, is the back and forth, staying... That's what pirate shipping is. Like, if you haven't heard of that before, it's all about playing that 1200 range. They try to get in, and then, we're going to take some bombs, or, bait them, and then get right back out. Some commanders will do that for 10 minutes, and it's boring as hell. But they're trying to make the other commander fuck up and waste their bomb, and then they know they've wasted it, and they go right for the jugular. So now there is a little bit more of a melee push, since the meta's changed a bit, and you can get away with more melee stuff. So a lot of guilds are trying more of a focus with the Dragon Hunter traps. They're trying more warrior bubbles, more reapers. So there's a little bit more that can be done with that at greater numbers with organization. Range is always going to be easier for you, because if you're outnumbered, you can still pull off a range win. If you're outnumbered, you cannot pull off a melee win. You're just not going to, unless you're way better than me. Because you're just not going to get there. It's all about if you're overly melee, you have to get there. You have to be so fast and stealthy they can't stop you. So you have to have a high level of organization to make that work. But, so beyond that, we've got our damage of the range. The range king is the Ellie. Or, I'm sorry, Ellie and Rev. They both have the super long AoE damage. the Necro fills some of that damage roll, but they have another roll which is boon removal. And this is where some, you know, some issues occur with people trying to go just for, oh, straight DPS, I gotta go to top damage, I'm on the damage chart, blah, blah, blah. Your Necros probably shouldn't be top damage because they need to be doing more boon removal. If we're going up against a real group that knows what they're doing, if we can't get their stability, their protection, their aegis, if we can't get all that stuff off, our hits are not going to mean anything. There's got to be a moment where we can get close enough for our Necros to get their wells off. There's a null field from your Mesmers that can take off some boons. And then, of course, the warrior bubble once you can get in close enough for that. So, like, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get in. We'll hit them a little bit. We'll get their, you know, basic boons off. Maybe one of our Necros can get in a well at that point. And then you have to time your push right. You have to just either stick with range for a minute and see if you can get one of them down, or if you're feeling good and you guys are not taking damage, then it's time to just push in. Just melee push. Not right through their front, but try to go around a little bit and hit the ones in the back, because those are the squishy ones. So you got your damage, which is hopefully 2 people. Hopefully you've got at least 1 warrior bubble for your group. Hopefully you've got enough Necros, at least 2 or 3, to cover boon removal plus damage. And then, you know, you just fill it in. You get some more people showing up. You know, Burn Guard might be good in there. A Weaver can be good. But you got to push people to switch classes sometimes. Like, half the time, if you're just putting together a squad, everybody's just joining with whatever they got, and it's going to be their most sustainable, most self-sufficient, most fun roaming thing, or whatever BS shenanigan build they saw on YouTube and want to try, and it's not going to work. So you need to push people politely to swap off of their roaming shenanigan BS builds and get on a Zerg class that's actually going to perform in a group and not just do your own thing. And honestly, on our server, people are really good about it. Like, if you ask, there's always 3 people that will volunteer to change.
Yeah, when I'm map man, I say if you're in group build, get on me. If you're in soloist or duelist build, don't mess with the enemy.
And most commanders will leave that as party 1. Party 1 will just kind of be your BS people you can't do much else with, rangers and thieves kind of party, and they can fend for themselves. And, you know, oh well, or you don't keep them in the squad, whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's very true. If there's a wipe, then people are like, okay, I can't mess around anymore. We should play serious. So sometimes it's good to get that first wipe in, so people, you know, bring their A game.
And not their level 27 thief.
Yeah. There is something people don't use a lot anymore, squad participation. Like, if you do have a functional thief or ranger who will scout for you and be useful and not just, like, pick random fights and die all the time, then you can...
People caught the map queue.
Yeah. But no, if people are on map and they're being useful for you, and they're scouting or they're watching a keep or whatever, you can right-click them and there's a share squad participation. I think lieutenants can do it too.
Yep, I see it.
You're basically giving them loot. Like, if somebody has to AFK, they might ask you, oh, can I get shared participation? They keep getting pips. They keep getting whatever it is, participation, I guess, until, you know, you take it off of them. So it's free loot for somebody who is doing something helpful for the group. A good option to give to people who are helping.
Yeah, can you go watch Borderlands or whatever?
Yeah, like in off hours and weird things like that, like there might be a big need for that. If you're, on in the middle of the night and some random person is watching hills, hey, give them that participation. They'll appreciate it and do it more, Let's see. I've been rambling for about 40 minutes. And I've hit squad comp, I've hit boon removal. I mentioned the one push bit as like a warning of what not to do, but I didn't tell you what to do. So of course you've got some kind of might before the fight. Don't overthink having to empower before every fight. Nowadays, if you can drop fire fields and blast that, it's better because the empower takes forever, and it's so visible and so easily telegraphed.
And by the time you get to the fight, it's gone anyway.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid might stack, but if you do it too early, I mean, it's probably gonna wear off. Yeah. So that's it. It's really good to have blasting going on. The warrior warhorn, double blasts, OP as hell, Condi removal. If you can get your warriors to play that, push them hard on that because it's gonna really make a difference.
And the
The
12 stack instant while fighting.
all that stuff should be based on group boons, much less on what is that individual player getting, but what are they going to give to the group. Like anytime somebody tells me about their build, oh, I'm going to get all these, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. What are you going to do for the group? And that's one of the things with Arc DPS that is unfortunate, because it allows people to kind of play for points in their own head. I'm doing it. And to a certain point, it is good. Like I can see Salamander is killing the hell out of that gate right now, and I'm just behind. Goes up and down a little bit, but I can see that. I can see
They're proud. If they're having fun and they're proud, they're gonna do better.
That's the thing. No, the Arc DPS is leading to bad behaviors where people will swirl off to try and get some early hits so they get more numbers so they look better on the scoreboard. And it doesn't help a damn thing. They're just wanting to look good in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad behaviors there that don't help. Like there's a timer of Arc DPS that, kind of resets after, however many minutes into combat you are. So people are just trying to spam the shit out of all their buttons as soon as they can. And they might be hitting something, but they're hitting something at all the wrong time. And they're just, yeah, are you hitting something? Sure. Did it die? No. If you don't press your skills at the same time as the rest of the group and you're just doing your own thing, no one's going to die. You might get some high DPS numbers, but they already healed all that because you did it at the wrong time. There's a concept known as time on target. So and a lot of my lingo is kind of military, I guess, but your DPS on paper, this is particularly with like Ellies and Rangers and stuff. Like on paper, if you test stuff at the dummy for the damn raid people, you can come up with a magic build with all these perfect stats, and oh my god, this is the best thing in the world. I'm definitely gonna win all the time. Meanwhile, you've given yourself so many vulnerabilities because you made your character squishy as hell, and you have to run half the fight. You can't actually cast any of those damn skills because you're on your back the whole fight. But yeah, I mean, Arc DPS is a guide, but it's not the Bible. Like, if somebody comes into your squad bragging about how they're top DPS and all that, they're probably doing something they shouldn't be. I like it. Some people are just great like that, but that's not the only thing that you need to look at. There's a lot more of the timing, the placement. Are you with the squad? Are you doing your own thing? Like if you're that jabroni that rushes in ahead of the squad and gets the first hits, you're gonna look like you did more damage, but you didn't help.
Yeah, I had to get rid of Warhammer because I started doing stuff I shouldn't have done. Like I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go in and stun these people, and then people behind me are like, oh, I'm dying. It's
That's my good segue.
If I would have just supported, it would have been different.
That's my good segue to the social bit of commanding, because that's highly neglected. You're basically a game master in Dungeons and Dragons, and nobody remembers that. Your job is more to make people have fun than to just, win a game. If you're grumpy and an asshole to people, and you just pick fights in team chat and all this, nobody's gonna want to follow you. They're just not. They're not having fun. Like you have to make an extra effort to keep it positive, make it lighthearted somehow, and pull chatter out of people. I mean, there's a lot of good people that play World vs. World that are awesome to have along just because they'll talk to you. I mean, it's really kind of weird when I'm like commanding along and fucking nobody's talking. I'm just like talking to myself and hoping somebody's listening. But there's a line too. You also have people that are just running their mouth about what they ate for dinner in the middle of the fight, and talking over you, and you gotta be like,
Clear comms.
Clear comms.
Silence comms.
You can pause all your chatter till after the fight and then resume it. And of course, there's polite ways to say it. Clear comms is pretty well understood, but yeah, it requires some thick skin and some willingness to be assertive with people, while still maintaining the level of fun. All right, so the not one push. That's what I was trying to get to, and this is a cool spot because there's some stuff we have to run through. So we're gonna might up here. We're gonna push up with that Aether Blade on the right. Give you a marker. 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I'm a warrior. And
In my head, I'm stopping here. In my head, right about this range, I need to make a choice to go one side or the other, because he knows I'm coming, so he's going to try to put down everything he can right in that pathway. He's going to put down his lines, whatever he can. So I have to outdo him, and I have to go around him. If I'm doing my job, he hasn't moved, and now I'm behind him. He's wasted his skills, and I can drop everything I got. After that happens, I need to move. Move, cast. Move, cast. Move, cast. There's shoot and move. Shoot, move, and communicate. That's, the basics of...
I gotta work on dodge right, dodge left, because I dodge with the E key. I dodge with a special key, and it's whatever key I'm pressing. But I gotta press it and then hit E.
I very much recommend, and this is a bit unusual, but damn near everybody's got... yeah, I'm a former Marine, so I got a lot of that lingo in this stuff. So the damn near everybody's mouse, and I really hope you guys are all using a mouse, not a trackpad. Dead.
I know. Look. And I broke my screen, so I'll get another one. Thank you.
But yeah, not trying to call people out too much. But yeah, if you can have a mouse, it's probably going to have extra buttons, and those 2 extra buttons on the side, you really should use. I like dodge on that extra mouse button, and I like auto run. Auto run's a little weird, but it gives you some options to just auto run off, auto run on, auto run off, auto run on. I mean, it's good to have another option besides just holding down the W. Dan, aren't you like a real estate mogul with all these houses? I need you to invest in a computer, bud.
House money can only be spent on house money, otherwise it gets taxed.
Oh well.
Got a roof. That's the important part.
So I've taken this a bit longer than I was thinking. I don't try to keep people more than like a half hour, but this is a bit more involved than most. The only other thing I'm going to say is take breaks while you're commanding. Not just like, oh, I got to take a bio break, but like mid-fight. That's kind of a fake rush, a fake urgency that sometimes exists. Like, you have to give people time for their skills to recharge. You have to give people time to heal up a second before you go for that second push. You can't push once and then push again right away. You have to like be extra aware of your damage and your stab and whether it's all gone or not. So it helps to play with friends who will talk to you and say, hold on, I don't have any stab, I don't have any wells, I don't have any stealth.
6, 7, 8, 9 on cooldown.
And it's on you to kind of ask for that stuff if you don't know. So, oh, you guys have
You guys got nailed by the cannon. We're all the way up
cannons everywhere.
here.
All right, what questions do you guys have? What you got, Nymeria?
I don't know. I'm typing this. I can just ask. Is there a class you recommend for starting off as a commander? Like, I normally play it on my Scourge or my Reaper, but I know some people recommend not playing on something that has a critical role of some sort. Like, more like, I know a few people play as Chronomancer or Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you guys recommend or you recommend specifically?
I'm super, super biased to Guardian because you're always going to have stab. You're never going to not have stab.
So, like a Firebrand, then?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can get away with commanding on Burn Guard. It tends to be too squishy, though. That's the other piece with playing some of the DPS classes is you're not tanky enough. And man, you're going to get targeted so hard. Like, if you go up against several of these servers that know how to pick out the commander and that have rangers out the ass and daredevils and all this, they're gonna gun for you like you never felt. Like I have people knocking me off bridges and pulling me all the time. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to command on something that's a damage, I would go Condi, and because that way you can be just as tanky as a support, because you can go with like Dire or Trailblazers and you get the toughness vitality. I would not go like a glass cannon like a power necro or whatever. But usually being a support class works best. Firebrand is the most common. Chrono's all right.
It does depend on your scenario a bit, and I mean,
And play what you're best at too, so you're not
yeah,
trying to figure out what I need to do here instead of watching the battler where you should be moving.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you're more comfortable on on Ellie or on NG or on even Reaper, a class that's tanky and you know how to play well, and is going to bring something to the group, go for that. I mean, but you're just going to have to find that Guardian. You're going to have to find that NG, that Necro to go with you. A lot of people are commanding on Mesmer so they can do their own portals, their own stealth, their own pulls.
Yeah.
It just requires you to not be pugmanding and to have, enough Guardians and people that'll join comms with you to kind of make it work.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. That's kind of the hardest part, getting the group together, is kind of getting that that critical mass at the beginning to have, a group that can actually keep itself going.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Every group you face got 100 of them.
Yeah, tough competition out there.
Oh, versus 30.
Yeah.
People are willing to join, though. They really are. I mean, we have a pretty good population now, and there's always a map that doesn't have a commander, pretty much. Or it might just be some random person from VP that doesn't know what they're doing. There's always pretty much a spot for a commander. You just have to kind of get your 2 or 3 guildies and friends and associates together first. It's kind of hard to go at alone, really. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like I always try to start a party of 5, and then once that maxes out, okay, I'll get a squad going. I'll make it a commander thing. Because if people join a squad and there's like 2 people in it, they just probably aren't going to stay. They don't think you're for real.
Kriff, I think there was Kriff.
Ah, yes. Good question. What is the requirements to command for new? I know not all you guys are new. Get some guessing here, but so we exist throughout the day, and you know there's overnight hours that don't have anybody around, and man, if you want to command, go for it. Go for it. I would just say if another person in the guild is commanding, just wait for them to be done. Just help them out until they're done, and then take over. But I'd rather not have, you know, 2 new commanding at the same time. There's really no reason we'd ever need to split up. We don't have that many people. But yeah, I mean, all you guys now know enough to command. I trust you guys fully to command now. You're all, I think you're all grown-ups. Close enough.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. I feel special, I guess. Just trying to make sure, you know, because I just joined you yesterday, so I want to make sure, you know, I don't step in anybody's toes because from where I come, things were different.
Yeah, no, I kind of try to be the guild that's not like high stress, super intense commitment, all this. I'm the alternative to that, so.
What about
No.
claiming things? I know
Thank
I don't
you.
have claim. I tried to claim hills last night, and like, oh, I don't have rights.
Let me fix that. Wait, don't, thought you would. I'm gonna have to check that. Oh, was that Lubert?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think you may have just joined, so I gotta update you. Okay, I think everybody here can now claim stuff. If you cannot claim stuff after this, let me know. So congrats on promotion to Sergeant. You've been to Commander Training, and you can now command stuff and claim stuff.
And just don't overclaim. Like if we have something claimed, like a major
Claim a
point,
camp over a keep.
yeah, if we got a keep claimed and have all our goodies in it, yeah, don't claim a camp.
And you'll get a pop-up. If you're trying to claim something and we already have a keep claimed, it'll say,
Yeah, we'll give you a warning.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to?
Yep. It's in red and everything, so no worries on that. And it's just like an upgrades thing. Because basically with the claiming, you want to hold on to something for 10 minutes with your claim so that it can be upgraded. Like say we take a camp. That camp cannot get packed yaks or anything upgradable. There's tower, same thing. Until it's claimed by a guild for 10 minutes. So if we go and cap hills and nobody claims it, and it just sits there for an hour, we're not going to be able to put any upgrades in it, though. Even though we've had it for an hour, it doesn't matter. A guild has to have it claimed for those 10 minutes, or you can't do anything. So you really want to try to claim stuff as you're going. And of course, since we can only hold one thing with new, it's nice to have those little side guilds you can claim with, to have, a random camp claimed.
Yeah, but if you do claim something major, you're responsible after that 10 minutes. Put on the goodies.
There's people that think that. I don't. Any guild can slot stuff in there, and yeah,
Really?
yeah, totally. That's a misconception. Any guild can slot stuff in there. You just can't change it. That's
I got
the
you.
that's where you can have people yell at you. Like if you capture hills and you hold it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna put some tactivators in there, blah blah. Like you could put something in incorrectly and then we wouldn't have emergency waypoint. Like you could put in whatever the alternative is. I don't know. It's something about siege.
Killing
Auto
fog.
turrets or something.
And the
Auto turrets, yeah. So those are kind of considered useless. So you'd want the the emergency waypoint, whatever the default thing is. Not too much to think about. All you need to do is kind of click on one of the other keeps and just look what they got there and copy it. Like, just copy it. You don't have to think about it too much. But it's good to click on those towers and keeps and see if they might need some upgrades. Our guild is just loaded up on those damn Tactivators. Don't even think twice. Just put them in there. If something needs a Tactivator, put it in there. I don't care who has it claimed. If we lose it, we lose it. At least we tried. All right, we're going to build this. And I think this is our last capture here. Just racking up these points in Edge of the Mist. I don't even know if we have supply here. Do we have supply? Knocked over. Give some stability here. Like one more supply. I know you guys got it. Somebody's holding. There we go.
One more.
I'm going to give you guys a fun little trivia command that nobody uses anymore. You can type as commander. I don't think lieutenant can do it, but you can type /supply info. And it will show you who has what supply directly around you. You have to be pretty damn close, which is why there was a lot of like, oh, stack tight, because commander was checking your supply. So I can see, you know, oh, Lord Igneous, he has 12. So Den has 24. Lubert has 13. So if it comes down to it, yeah, you can totally call people out to not spend the supply. They just have to be close. Yep, /supply info, yep. Only works for commanders, though. Let's maintain stability on Den here so we can get this thing down. Yeah, this is your chance to ask questions.
What do you think about golems? Using them all the time. I know I'll pick on Golem Master. I mean, they run golems all the time, and a lot of them never touch them.
They have an inherent vulnerability in fights, and that's why I don't like them. If you have somebody driving a golem, they cannot do any of their normal skills. So you're either losing some support you needed, or you're losing some damage you needed when the fight comes. And they can be disabled. So say you have your guardian in your golem, you have all your guardians in golems, they all get disabled. You're screwed. You have no chance to win at all. I mean, if you have, you know, a casual, you're just trying to cap keeps and there's 3 of you, it can be really effective for small groups because you can, you know, do it all with one golem. But for like silly rushes and stuff like that, like I just prefer not to expose myself to getting wiped because they're invariably going to see you. There's no sneakiness anymore. Yeah, keep the stab going. Let's get some hollowed ground. There's certain chances. It's mainly a supply saver. I guess that's what it is. It's if you have, yeah, because you can take it from gate to gate versus having to have, you know, the full 200 or whatever you need. But if you have a really puggy group and you have new people, they might live a little longer in a golem than on their regular skills. So it just depends on what you're working with a little bit. I would rather never use them personally, but a little bit of that is personal, I guess. Slowest gate ever.
It's the normal ram. I'm doing the best I can, Cup.
What else? What else?
Need my mount so I can knock the gate down.
Man, that is a downer here with no mounts. Slows you down. Ulrich sneaked in here and he left us. Salamander, what did I miss?
I think you pretty much covered everything. What do we do when what's it called? In between team fights, like we switch a map and we're waiting for them to come follow us, or like when I was commanding for those 10-15 minutes, we were trying to take a keep, and what was it? Oh, it was about 15 of us and like 40 of them came. so we ended up swapping maps. Like, what would you recommend in an instance like that?
I mean, always be realistic about what you can fight. I mean, you're not going to beat twice your number. You're just not,
Yeah.
unless you're really, really, really organized. So,
You got to get thick skin because you're gonna get wiped.
yeah, but you want to avoid repeated wipes. So if you are going up against something you can't beat and they beat you 2-3 times, yeah, you got to do something else. Whether you get sneaky and try to take something where they're not, or go to a different map. I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with changing maps. I mean, it shouldn't be your first instinct as soon as you wipe to swap maps. But
Yeah.
if things aren't going your way, yeah, I mean, don't bang your head against a wall.
Okay.
Matters that SMC over and over and lose and go back and go back. And, yeah.
And that's a missed piece on a lot of new people too, is that every time you die, you give away points. Like there is not like a reason to YOLO and Leroy Jenkins all the time. You're literally helping the enemy. I mean, so yeah, it's kind of a progression of your number, and I didn't really talk about defense or kind of number estimates. So I'm glad we're getting questions. So,
one quick question: is Borderland, like getting the Bloodlust of the Borderlands, worth it? I don't see a lot of groups ever split up to do that. It seems minimal, but I didn't know if that was something to pay attention to, or if you're killing time with a timer to kind of run do that.
it's good for us to have one Bloodlust, but that's kind of all you're really going to ever hold. Like, it's not really worth it to try and get it on every enemy map you go to, because you're not going to hold it for very long. It's good to get it on the home map.
Go after those too.
If you're doing some, small group guerrilla stuff and you're trying to disrupt the enemy, I mean, sure, take their Bloodlust, but the bonus you're going to get out of it's not going to be worth it because they're going to take it right back. So it's kind of a home BL only type thing, I guess. All right, there was.
We can get all 3 Borderland Bloodlusts. That's 90. That's 90%.
It is 90 on paper, but in real life, you're never going to hold all 3. You're just not.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, Ketamine asked me something here. The first thing to do, take camp, get supply. I don't really hit on supply management either. I mean, you guys can all see how much supply we have in the squad. You know where that is. The lower left there, barrel count. Like, we have 72 right now. So in your head, you should always estimate for 50 supply per siege. Unless you're a baller and you're using all guild, 40 supply per siege. Guild siege is less supply, but more expensive. So on that, I mean, yeah, you're estimating 50 per. You need, and ideally you're using 2 pieces siege per wall or gate for just, speed purposes. 3 if you're loaded.
Yeah, 50
So
RAM, 60 kit.
So you're talking 200 if you're taking a keep. So you're not really trying to take a keep until you have a bunch of people. So yeah, you want to start small. You're starting with a camp, you're getting supply, you're gathering people. It's good to start in home BL sometimes. That's where you get the most people. You pick them up, you get some camps, you get them some karma. They're like, yeah, I'm going to stick with this commander. They're doing good stuff. They're getting us karma or whatever participation, whatever people want. And then you can move up to towers. Towers are supposedly like, 5 people or something minimum. Camps, if you've got 3, go for it. Once you're up to 5, go for a tower. Once you're more like 10, you can maybe think about a Borderland keep if it's not upgraded. The more upgraded it is, the more defenses, the more, harder walls. It's going to take you longer.
Or you gotta get sneakier, and hopefully they battle somewhere else while you're trying to do it.
And really try to take supply with you. BYOS, bring your own supply. So if you can start out at our garrison or our EB keep or something, walk everybody by that damn supply hut, because there'll be people that are too lazy to pick it up, and make sure everybody gets that
Yeah,
plus 25 supply.
I'll teleport the whole Zerg off map. I'll take them from EB. If our keep doesn't have enough supply or whatever, I'll take them. I'll say teleport Gary, grab supply, and we'll teleport to blue borderland, whatever.
Yeah, it's good to go and grab supply when you can. A lot of people, you have to be conscious of their load times. I mean, there's plenty of old computers out there still running this game, so the load times will not be as great, and you'll lose some time and you'll lose some people if you swap maps too much, basically. But wait till you can go and grab that supply. It's worth it, you know, if you have a big enough group where you could potentially get a keep. Otherwise, it's not really worth it. If you're just going for towers, eh. But yeah, 200 is a good, you know, kind of borderline. If you can get up to that, you can start getting big with your stuff. On the defense side, I didn't really mention anything there, but if you get pushed, your instinct should not ever be to walk backwards. You'll all die. You'll just all die. Unless you have a super coordinated group that you can count on to not freak out and drop all their damage in front of you and win, you have no business backing up. You telegraph fear to the enemy and your group, and you move slow as shit. Walking backwards is fucking slow. You're just going to get run over, they're going to drop bubbles, and you're going to have no way to win. If you get pushed, your move needs to be sideways. A lot of people will say, oh, just dodge roll through, get through the whole group. Don't do that. That will work sometimes, but it will not work if they're paying attention.
It'll work for you, but not for your entire people, because they won't dodge roll through. They don't know that you won't get any damage if you dodge roll through.
You can pull it off with a really tight guild group, but the reaction time and, you know, those last two necros in the back that didn't get their stability because the guardians were sleeping, like they're gonna get caught in there. They're just gonna get caught. Don't expose yourself to that unless you're really confident. You know, you're gonna have a greater survival and kill ratio going to the side. The enemy just never expects it. I still pull this off all the time, and it's they're charging at us. Boom! Everybody dodge roll to the side. We don't even have to all go to the same side. We just have to get out of the way. They always go in a straight line.
I still have to practice that. A dodge roll left or dodge roll.
I mean, double tap your damn strafe key. You know, your Q or your E. Use your keypad if you're crazy. That's side dodge, and you have to kind of really maintain calm at that moment, and, you know, encourage people.
Yeah, right before you dodge, stop hitting your S or W, and double tap the other one.
Well, that's where that one push not freezing up thing comes in. We may be able to get this. Otherwise, we'll PvD it. You have to kind of maintain calm and show that to the group. And we're like, okay, dodge roll to the side, guys. All right, now we need to do something else. You cannot freeze up. Doing nothing is worse than doing the wrong thing. You have to make a decision and go a direction, even if it's the wrong direction. So if they're pushing us, you just have to split second. Dodge roll to the left. Even if half people didn't, you're still better off. Dodge roll to the left. Okay, turn around, turn and bomb, or, oh, we're going to go towards this landmark. You have to give people a landmark in that scenario. If you've been pushed and everybody's dodging all over the place, left and right are gone. You have to forget about that, and you have to use landmarks, or just find me. And you'll honestly be fine. You might lose one or two that were too slow to dodge, but if you scatter and dodge out of the way of even, you know, an Indo-sized blob, you should be able to maintain most of your group and hit them back. If they're, you know, super outnumbering you, you don't want to hit them back immediately. You want to get some distance, but staying in one place is just not an option. The movement has to be constant.
when Indo was trying to take her Gary, I was literally double dodging forward, right through his group, turning around, whacking at his tail, and then he'd turn around, come back at me. I'd double dodge again, right through his group, whack his tail, and then eventually did a quick turn and got me.
Got our ram. Yeah, we're gonna capture this, and then that'll be quite enough of our commander training. Gives you guys a little past what I was planning. So this is your last chance for any questions. Speak now or forever hold your pee.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you guys, seriously, you guys all have my confidence, and I will gladly follow you. I don't ever feel a need if I show up to like pass me the tag or anything. I really don't want it. I would rather you guys command and me play and help you. I've done more than enough commanding. Special action? You mean like the F key, like picking up stuff and building?
I think it's referring to 10. Yeah, 10.
Oh, the elite. Yeah, good question. I have it as my mouse wheel button. If I press in my mouse wheel, then that's my elite. And that, man, I'm glad you asked. That is key. That is like, you have to have that accessible.
Oh yeah.
That is the oh shit button. That stun breaks everybody and gives stab. That's gotta be easy to hit.
Can you ping your build for me?
Oh, sure.
Time to do some real damage.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, I'm using that one.
Yeah, there's a couple traits that are a little off what you see on meta battle or whatever, but they work really well. I use durability runes to command. Well, all the time really, but a lot of people will say, you know, monk, water, or whatever the highest healing thing is.
Yeah.
You gotta survive. You gotta survive more than everybody else. Durability, for sure. And I successfully claimed this, which I guess is the keep of the blue people. Good job, everyone. We win this map. Yeah, that's all I got. I appreciate you guys listening to me ramble, and I hope you learned some stuff. And if you think of stuff later, feel free to whisper me or mail me and whatnot. Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. I will see you guys later.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Kriff.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks much.
Bud.